It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming for Monday, December 23rd. I'm Wendy Corr, bringing you headlines from the Cowboy State Daily newsroom. Vast stretches of harsh desert near Rock Springs are among the few places in the world where Mustangs with curly coats can be found. The Salt Wells Creek herd is only one of two in Wyoming known to have horses with distinctive curly manes, tails, and winter coats. Outdoors reporter Mark Haynes spoke to wild horse advocates who say the entire Salt Wells herd, thought to include several hundred horses, is set to be rounded up next summer.
They're south of Rawlins, and apparently it's only one of a couple places where people have seen this occurrence of these horses that have curly manes, curly coats, curly tails. Apparently they're really hardy during the winter. They're big and they're mellow. The BLM is planning on pulling out that entire herd out of the Salt Wells Creek area. And I did talk to the BLM and they said, we're not trying to eliminate these horses. We want to get them out there. We want to put them up for adoption.
Roughly 500 of the White Mountain Mustangs were rounded up this past summer. That reduced the herd to roughly 300 horses and drew protesters to Rock Springs. As the final week of 2024 approaches, there's a definite change coming that might start soon enough to carry a taste of winter weather across the Cowboy State on Christmas Day. That's a change from the mostly mild temperatures the region's been experiencing recently. But don't hold your breath waiting for a Norman Rockwell white Christmas. That's according to Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi.
If your definition of a white Christmas is snow covering the ground, then if you don't have snow already, you're not going to have snow by Christmas. There's just nothing in the way of that happening. But if your definition is snow falling on Christmas, that could happen. There is a winter system that's going to be moving from west to east on Christmas Day, so that could be scattered snow showers, emphasis on the scattered part of that, throughout the day Wednesday.
The scattered snow showers on Christmas Day will be the harbinger of a winter weather system that will ring in the new year. Meteorologist Don Day said the week between Christmas and New Year's Day will begin to look more like winter. Well, the zebra remains a threatened species in the ecosystem of Wyoming high school sports, with athletic directors scrambling throughout football season to field officiating crews. This led to fewer Friday night games, while school officials absorbed higher costs for bringing in referees from out of town. Now, those costs and a continued referee shortage is carrying over into the winter basketball and wrestling seasons, reports Cowboy State Daily's David Madison.
It's not news to anyone that it's a tough job being a referee, especially when parents are in the stands and emotions are running high. And Wyoming high school athletics has continually faced a shortage of referees. Wyoming is addressing this problem. There is training available through the University of Wyoming. They're recruiting wrestlers, former high school wrestlers who might want to give back to the sport. And so it's not completely dire, but it's getting more expensive.
There are escalating costs associated with hiring out-of-town basketball officials. Mileage reimbursement can reach up to 72 cents a mile, and those and other added costs can drastically increase a ref's usual fee. Well, there's a reason Gordon Ramsay's famous beef Wellington costs $119 and change per person. It's a complex dish to make that marries high-quality ingredients in a visually stunning way. But with a few smart changes, it doesn't really have to be such a chore and can even be fun. That's what Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean discovered when she and a small group of people gathered at Cheyenne's Rail Spur restaurant to learn this fancy holiday classic from Juan Coronado, the restaurant's co-owner and head chef.
The original, they use chicken mousse and mushroom duxelle. It's delicious, but it's like a separate dish all in and of itself, just to make that part of it. So instead of that, he used prosciutto di Parma and duxelles, so you get that same umami blast, but without having to make a completely separate dish. And rather than make his own puff pastry, you just buy it prepared.
Jean's article lines out the steps she and her fellow culinary students followed in order to make beef Wellington shine. She said she's freezing hers and will thaw it in time to bake it up for Christmas dinner. And now let's take a look at today's weather with Cowboy State Daily meteorologist Don Day.
Well, here we are, Christmas week. How Christmas-like will it be weather-wise? Well, first of all, we're going to see a little bit of snow shower activity over near Wyoming's mountain ranges today as a weak disturbance moves through. So watch for that if traveling over the mountain passes. We don't expect a lot out of the system, but watch out for a few mountain snow showers. As we get into Christmas Eve Tuesday, generally a quiet day. But by very late Tuesday night into Christmas morning, we'll see some snow showers develop in the western border areas of Wyoming near the Idaho-Utah border. Then on Christmas Day, Wednesday, do expect snow showers across the west and over Wyoming's mountains. And late Wednesday evening and into Wednesday night, a few snow showers scattered, just a few, will be possible across the plains. Now, we're not expecting very much, but there will be enough snow shower activity to make for some wet to slick roads late Tuesday night through Christmas evening. So keep an eye on that. And then longer term, it does look colder. The weather looks more busy as we head towards the new year.
You can get Don's full forecast on the Cowboy State Daily website. I'll be back in just 15 seconds with more news.
Open enrollment is here. Discover a range of low-cost plans from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming. Shop now to find the best option for you. Online, in town, in touch. We're right around the corner. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming. What's your plan?
Well, Wyoming is at the center of an epic national race to turn on production of rare earth metals needed for just about everything related to modern-day life, even as China races to shut off the export of these strategic minerals. That makes Friday's announcement that Wyoming Rare USA has found a home for a pilot plant with Western Research Institute in Laramie for its Halleck Creek project all the more important. Business reporter Renee Jean has the story.
Normally, it takes about 10 years to stand up a new mine, but we need this like yesterday because China is already starting to turn things off. So every step that we can take to advance this and move it forward faster so that it doesn't take 10 years. We need rare earths for just about everything: cell phones, computers, medical scanners, lasers, nuclear weapons, you name it.
Based on the company's exploration, the Halleck Creek site near Wheatland has the potential to be one of the world's richest deposits of rare earths. Well, the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office already considers themselves half bionic, utilizing tasers, body and dash cameras, and other technology that are integrated together. Now the department is testing out virtual reality cop training. Cowboy State Daily's Clara McFarland reports that the department is doing a temporary test run of a virtual reality headset by a company called Axon for a virtual training that's more immersive than projection screen simulators.
The spokesperson for Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office, Jason Maurer, actually called me like, "You won't believe what we're demoing." It's a headset. You got your little toy gun that goes with it, which Maurer calls a pew pew. Like, and you've got your pew pew. It's a 360-degree universe, and you can look down and you can see your feet, and you can walk up a hill, or someone can sneak up behind you while you're trying to de-escalate a situation, just like in real life.
A representative of Axon pointed to some offset of the product's cost, saying that unlike working with a VR taser, a trainee working with a real-life taser could burn through $1,000 worth of taser probes by practicing on 40 different targets. Well, 49-year-old Scott Haynes still uses his commercial driver's license to haul heavy equipment, gravel, and other loads for a roustabout trucking company during the summer months. But this winter, the Newcastle resident is focusing on what he really loves, being the author and illustrator for his Rhodey the Ranch Dog children's books. Cowboy State Daily's Dale Killingbeck spoke with Haynes, who recently published his 7th Rhodey book. He's enjoying greater success as more young readers discover the colorful orange cartoon ranch dog and his misadventures in ranch life.
It's really not so much a reading book for kids. It's more of an illustration book, and that's what he wanted to do. He said when he was a kid, he didn't read real well, and so he really liked comic books. And so he's made these books more for kids that maybe struggle with reading, but attracts them to books.
Now let's go to Cowboy State Daily's chief videographer, Riley Strand, for our last story of the day.
One man found his calling as a Wyoming biker pastor, but that came after a storied past of drug use, partying, and loan shark enforcing. Cowboy State Daily's Jen Coker sat down with 69-year-old Don Olin, also known as Velcro, to find out more about his ministry and how he helps recently released inmates get back on their feet.
He has such a heart for helping the people who society more or less discards. Getting out when you've been in prison is very hard to restart your life. So when they come out, he's there for them. And that's his whole deal. He wants to give people hope. He's given away 4 of his vehicles. He's just the kindest person. So he appealed to me. And I always want to highlight people who are making a difference in their communities.
Olin runs his biker church out of his home and live streams services and Bible studies on social media.
And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the daily newsletter button on cowboystatedaily.com. And you can watch this newscast every day by clicking subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.